Hello, everybody, and welcome to the stream. I'm super excited for this one. Today, we got a super special guest, Clyde Do Something. Clyde is a fellow YouTuber, kind of in the same niche that I am, in a sense that we kind of make similar content about the same topics for the most part. I'm super excited to have him on here. Big shout out to Clyde Do Something. I got his channel linked in the description. In case you aren't already subscribed, you could go do so. Let's help get him to 100,000 subscribers so you can get that nice silver play button. That would be sweet. I'm looking forward to this interview, though, for sure. We'll just wait for some more people to pop in here. Please share this as far and wide as you can. Hit the like. Send this out to the internet. Let's see here. We got Brett. How's it going? Unacceptable Fringe says, I like cake. Clyde. MC says, you rock, Tyson. I appreciate you, MC. Thank you. CH with the love in the chat. I appreciate you. All right, everybody. So looks like we got enough people pouring in here. I'm going to stop rambling on, and I'm going to bring the man himself on here. Clyde, I'm bringing you on right now.
The
How's
man,
it
the
going?
myth, the legend.
Yep. How's it going?
The dyslexic mechanic YouTuber that reads people the news. I can't believe people
yeah.
watch my channel. It's amazing, but some people do.
Thank you so much for coming on. So
thanks for inviting me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, so just in case there is anybody who's new to hearing about your channel, I'm just going to give you an opportunity to kind of introduce yourself to any potential new viewers in here.
My name's Clyde. I do something on YouTube. Hence the name. I got my start a long time ago doing how-to videos, whatnot, on YouTube. When the Freedom Convoy kicked off, I said, you know what, gloves are off. I'm going to give my political opinion that everyone seems to be, over the pandemic especially, had kind of staved off. They just didn't want to share what they actually felt about things. And I was so pent up about that I said, enough's enough. I'm giving my opinion out there, whether people like it or not. I thought nobody would watch it. I thought nobody would watch it.
Oh boy, were you
wrong. Yeah, I was wrong.
Yep.
And now it's a daily thing. I bring videos daily on weekdays, of course. I got a family. I got a job. I got a real job. And so what I do is I put together videos in the morning of some of the news stories that I found most pertinent to the things that I'm interested in. And I showcase those and let people know what's going on in our country, around the world, depending on the story. Just was mostly things that I care about, and I think other people ought to care about and hear about and know about.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's what I do on YouTube.
Awesome. So yeah, no, big props for you. You got a family and a full-time job, and you still manage to pump out videos daily. That's something I've been trying to do. I feel like, I don't know, it's not that I don't have the passion for YouTube because I love YouTube, but no matter how much I try to work myself, I just feel like I can't get a video out daily. So, I mean, big ups to you, massive respect for you to be able to do that daily. And, I mean, obviously it has a big reflection to your success on the platform. I mean, almost 100,000 subscribers. There's not many people in this world who could say that they've done that. So, I mean, big credit to you for sure.
Thank you. And you know what? It's like any other success. It disguises itself as this thing that it looks a lot like hard work.
Yeah.
and essentially that's exactly what it was. During the Freedom Convoy, all through February and the beginning of March, I didn't take a single day off.
Yeah.
7 days a week, I did 3 videos on the channel while going to work and while having a family. So yeah, it was a mad grind, but there was so much information to get out there. I felt like I wasn't even doing enough.
Yeah.
And now I cut it down to giving myself weekends off to spend with the family. But yeah, no, everything kind of looks like hard work, and it disguises itself as that. So if you see something that looks like hard work, it might be success just hiding in plain sight.
Yeah, for sure. So how long have you been doing YouTube? Because you mentioned you've actually been doing YouTube before the convoy started. So like, about when did you start your YouTube channel?
Well, I want to say I've been doing YouTube here and there for about 6 years.
Wow.
With varying degrees of success. I started with a DIY channel that I was doing years ago.
Yep.
With a friend of mine. We kind of took like a comedic approach to DIY. We drank lots of beers and made videos of DIY,
Yeah.
and it was more of a cinematic thing. I'm a real dork when it comes to like movies and theater and that kind of thing. So I would do like yeah, I just dork out on camera stuff and all that to make these videos. It was a lot of effort. I had some various success there. I got invited onto some TV shows
Oh yeah.
for like international audiences and stuff.
Sweet.
BBC had a show
Oh yeah.
featuring the two of us.
Awesome.
That was a lot of fun, but that was a bit of work that I just I wasn't into because it was the type of work where you do 2 videos a month and you work night and day for it, you
Yeah.
know. And so I got sick of that, and I tried my hand at streaming for a bit, did a bit of that, political commentary on other people's channels, and daily vlogging I did for a little while. I just like making videos. I like putting
Mhm.
stuff out there for people, and then that
Yeah.
kind of lended a hand and gave me a lot of experience for what I do now. And it just kind
Awesome.
of it fell in my lap at the time, and it just happens to be the thing that I'm most interested in, and I'm very fortunate for that.
Yeah. So you're making these kind of mechanical review videos, right? So the Freedom Convoy starts, and you decide that you want to make videos on the Freedom Convoy. I know personally, when you have a niche on YouTube, it's really hard to just switch into something. Before the Freedom Convoy, I used to do nature and wildlife videos. So I kind of did a complete 180 with my channel where I went from calling owls to go into these protests. How was the initial response from your viewers when you switched your content?
Well, it's an interesting thing that so I took time away from my channel that I have. So I've had several channels. So the DIY channel is a completely separate channel, and then Clyde Do Something channel. It was called Clyde's Soapbox ages ago, and I don't know why I named it that. I just named it that because I wanted to just like have my own soapbox where I could just say what I wanted,
Yeah.
and I would talk about mechanical stuff, but also do family vlogs. I did some of that. Um, but I took a break from that to go do other projects with some other people. I got into streaming for a little while, and that was like on other channels elsewhere. So this channel kind of went on hiatus, and there was not it went dormant for some time. I finished doing that, and I was almost about to just like quit making content
Yeah.
and just find some other hobby because I was just getting I didn't think it was going anywhere, and I didn't want to waste too much time away from family and stuff. And then the convoy happened, and I was like, well, I have a channel. I'm just gonna talk about it. I really didn't.
Yeah.
I honestly, because there was not much of a viewership at the time, and the channel was dormant for so long, I didn't think there was gonna be many people tuning in,
Yeah.
and I had like 2,500 subscribers at the
Mhm.
time, which was built up over a bunch of years. And as soon as I started talking about this, I'm not sure how many of those viewers stuck around. Like I really don't know. And it's funny on Social Blade, my whole channel is still under the category autos, like for automobiles.
Oh.
So I don't know. They haven't figured out that I'm a news channel. Maybe
Yeah.
that's why I've been faring kind of well with the algorithm and whatnot, considering what the content that I put out.
Yeah. You know, I guess we're kind of around the same subscriber base when we started to film the Freedom Rallies. I think I was maybe around 2,500 too, and I'm not sure how some of my viewers perceived it. I mean, I got a lot of new supporters that it kind of maybe drowned out potential unsupporters for me streaming the Freedom Rally. So
Unsupporters, you mean like
like
detractors, people
unsubscribers, yeah.
like people who are not happy with the
Uh-huh.
fact that you were doing that.
Yeah, there's definitely been a couple. How did your friends and like family perceive you streaming this? Because I know for me personally, I got some family members who don't really agree with the stuff I'm streaming. Um, kind of how were you perceived for streaming all the freedom stuff?
Well, so it's funny that because I wasn't so concerned about my family's reaction. I've always been
Yeah,
the black sheep of my family. They know me for just saying it how it is, and
yeah,
that gets me trouble in various degrees, right? Either some family members avoid me because of that, or they love chatting with me because I'm just so
yeah.
straightforward and honest about it, about anything really.
Hmm.
Um, but it was I was really worried about my boss and how he thought about it. So I asked
Mhm.
him before I even talked about it. I said, "What do you think of me sharing my political opinion online on my channel?" And he said, "Well, I don't care. That's you. That's your business, right?" And I'm like, "Well, maybe you don't know the internet.
Yeah.
Things can go haywire, and people get get the well, it's not that they get the wrong idea of what you're saying. They
Uh,
completely disagree with you, and then they
yeah.
decide that they want to take it out on you and try to get you fired or whatnot." And I explained this
Yeah.
to my boss, and he's like, "Ha, you know who answers the phone? Whatever, he can deal with it. That's funny." And yeah, he was full on go for it. Now,
Awesome.
funny story is my sister got a call from my sister-in-law
Uh,
apparently at one point, and she said she told a story about how her brother was like, "Hey, you got to check out this guy on YouTube. He's talking about the Freedom Convoy," and she's like, "That's my brother-in-law. What? Get out of here!" And she shared that story with my sister. She shared it with me. I thought it was
Sweet.
hilarious.
Awesome. Well, that's awesome to hear that you had a supportive boss for that. That's awesome. For
Yeah, you
sure.
need to have that. You need to have
Yeah,
that. And I encourage
100%.
people, all young people, maybe even yourself,
Hmm.
become uncancelable. Get
Yeah.
yourself a trade. Like
Hmm.
if you have a skilled trade, nobody's gonna fire you because they can't afford
Hmm.
to. There's not
Yeah.
enough of us out there, and yeah, get a trade.
Hmm.
It's gonna be the real money maker in the future. Nobody's gonna care if you have a gender study degree.
Yeah, 100%. And I guess that's when you become unstoppable, is when you're quote unquote uncancelable.
Yeah,
Nobody could really do
self-reliant.
anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm. That's perfect. So I did a stream earlier today which got limited in monetization, and I'm noticing a trend where everything I post gets demonetized, restricted. I feel like I'm at the point where YouTube hates my channel in a sense. How have you been with that? Because we make similar content. How have you been with YouTube? Have you had any videos demonetized, restricted, censored, if you will?
Yeah, so I had a bout of demonetizations
Hmm.
that occurred in, I want to say, late February, early yeah, just late mid to late February actually. So
Hmm.
it all started when I posted a video, and it was with Alexa Lavoie, and she got I don't want to say the word, maybe pew pewed in the leg
Yeah.
uh, by a cop at the convoy.
Yeah.
And I did a video on that, and I showed in detail what was going on. And I was really proud of that video because I went over it with a source that I had gathered over the convoy, who was an ex Ottawa and Toronto police officer who is giving me information, like actually like feeding me. So I go to him with questions like, "What is this? Can you verify this? Can you identify this object for me? I don't understand this. What this pew pew is like? What is this? That looks like one of those things." And he helped a lot with breaking down the footage of that.
Yeah.
I shared that out, and the video got age gated.
Man.
And so then from there, YouTube told me that, well, we don't trust yourself. For people who don't know YouTube, you have to say what the content is when you upload the content.
Mhm.
You have to the tell YouTube. This is if you're uploading a video. Streams are different because you just say yes monetization or not, right?
Yeah.
um, Video content, you have to tell them if there's any like bad stuff in it, and there's a bunch of categories where you can categorize it. Um, I just I just said that it was controversial, and I didn't hit the that there was like violence. I was trying to avoid showing any of that, so I'd show stills or I'd show this, and it wasn't showing it directly. I thought I was in the clear, but they age gated it, and I had them double check that because I was like, no, I said what it was in it,
Yeah.
and the manual reviewer disagreed with me. Now after that, I found myself on a bout of nearly every video got demonetized,
Mhm.
and I actually I tested it out too. I did a video where I I left it what's the word for it? Sorry, unlisted. I left
Yeah.
it unlisted, and I just made a spiel about like rainbows and puppies and stuff like that. And I uploaded it, and I shared it in my Discord for everybody to just like, hey, go over there and just see what happens. And sure enough, that didn't get demonetized. So I was like, okay, there's something triggering this, and
Hmm.
there's something in my language, or there's something in the titles that I'm using. So I've been really careful ever since on that. I actually had to, I had a line of dialogue with someone from YouTube. I don't know if it was an automated bot or what,
Yeah.
but you know the chat things that you can get
Hmm.
on some websites
Yeah.
um, for just for your tech support or whatever. So
Hmm.
I was just trying to clear this up, and I said, hey, listen, I had this one. I want to clear everything up. Um, it seemed to right itself not long after that. Now you're
Yeah.
supposed to wait like I think it's like 30 days from an infraction before they trust you again, and every upload you have to. But I upload so frequently, I think because I was really vigilant about what I did, that
Yeah.
they began trusting me again. But I did have a video get actually taken down
Really?
and for community guidelines.
Man. What was the video
So
on?
well, it was on the Hokey Pokey.
Oh. Yeah, no,
Yeah,
YouTube
yeah.
does not like
So
that.
yeah, they don't like you talking about
Nope.
that,
They
and
definitely
it
don't.
was about a bunch of data that got released,
Hmm.
and I went over that data, and well, YouTube is not happy with the what
Yeah.
was in the data or what I said. They didn't. There was no explanation. There was no arguing. They
Yeah.
took it down and deleted the video.
Hmm.
And
I mean,
I was given a warning, not a strike. So they said if
yeah.
you do it again,
Okay.
you're getting a strike.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think, what is it? 3 strikes and they just totally wipe your channel off YouTube? Something
That's
like
right.
that, eh? Yeah.
That's
I
right.
mean, it's scary the fact that they could just regulate what people see. I mean, how is anybody going to be able to come to a conclusion on something if they're only showing one side and completely suppressing the other side? I mean, that's my biggest
Well, that's
beef I have with YouTube for sure, is just censorship 100%.
well, that's the argument of informed consent, right? So
Mhm.
the idea that you can consent to anything is first that you are informed, or
Yeah.
at least given the opportunity to gather the information.
Mhm.
But yeah, if it's actively being suppressed, then it's really hard to say that we're in a circumstance where we're giving informed consent to anything in particular, not just one particular thing. YouTube, I'm not making any suggestions here.
Yeah, and I mean, I've even noticed it with my channel. For example, this stream right here, live right now, has been demonetized. I just got a notification in my YouTube studio, and I feel like I'm at the point where everything I post, no matter what it is, controversial or not, gets demonetized. We haven't even said anything remotely controversial in this interview,
No.
and already yellow, that limited monetization you get, the dreaded yellow dollar sign, that's already
Mm-hmm.
appearing in my YouTube studio. Just got a email notification. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just in YouTube's bad books. But it's not when they limited. Because here's the thing: I don't do YouTube for the money, and even if I did, you barely make anything off of ad revenue, anyways. I don't do it for that. But the thing that really bugs me is when they do that and they limit your monetization. It also suppresses how many people you could reach, which is the main reason I do this, is to reach people and spread my message. And when YouTube's actively stopping me from doing that, maybe putting my videos lower in the feed. I mean, I've had constant messages from people saying that they've been unsubscribed from my channel. And I'm sure you probably have the same issue, as well as many other YouTubers who talk about what we talk about. It's just, it frustrates me on a whole nother level, and I feel like it's just something that 100% should be called out whenever you get the chance to, you know?
It just makes me work harder.
Yeah.
It just makes
Yeah,
me
me
work
too.
harder because
Mhm.
I want to get the word out, you know?
Yeah.
I don't want to be shut up.
Mhm.
And you know what? I'll play by their rules. If they want me off the platform, they're going to have to work for it. I'm not going to
Yeah.
allow it, you know?
Mhm.
I'm not going to walk off willingly and
Mhm.
say, forget it. I'm going to take off and go to some other platform. Yeah, I'll put my presence out on other platforms like you and I both. We have our contents mirrored on Rumble, just in
Mhm.
case, right?
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna give them a reason to kick me off. I'm gonna make
Mhm.
that absolutely difficult for them. So like
Yeah.
they're gonna have to work for it. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's 100% a good thing, for sure. I just want to take a moment to acknowledge some of the super chats. I don't want to feel like I'm ignoring you guys. Unacceptable Fringe with the 5 says, share this out and let's get this young man some subs, people. Get those daily
Nice,
vids, Tyson. You got the tools and the talent to go get that success. I appreciate that. Thank you so much for that. We got another down here from Access High or Access High. I'm sorry if I pronounced your name wrong. Says good to see a young person with the courage to speak out and go against the leftist call. Thank you so much for the 5. Appreciate that. And we got one from Queenie. Says can't wait till next weekend. It's on Freedom. I'll be sure to share that out there. I know Queenie, you got your own channel now. I saw you're actually over 100 subs, so congrats on that. I'm sure you'll probably be streaming that on your channel, so I'll share that out for sure. Unacceptable Fringe with another dono. 10 this time says, let's get some more super chats in your people. Give this legend some support for all his hard work. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate you
nice.
guys. I mean, I really got the best fans for sure. I mean, I appreciate every single one of you guys. This would not be possible without you guys for sure.
That's
That's
great.
100%. Yeah.
So let them know how we got on each other's radar in the first place.
Yeah, so I made a video a while back which kind of ties in with how I met Clyde. It was titled Rebel News Stole My Video. And this is back when the time Justin Trudeau came to Victoria. And I went down there. I actually skipped school to live stream him arriving. Again, there's a big crowd of people there to welcome him into the city, if you will. And that clip of mine, I clipped it on my stream, posted on my channel, and it ended up going viral on Twitter, got shared around by multiple accounts and Rebel News picked it up. And I was frustrated because they didn't give me credit. And at the time, I thought everybody's like, oh, they're just stealing my videos, not giving me credit, all that. So I actually reached out to Clyde because I thought he did the same. But then I came to realize that he just got it from Twitter because there's so many like different accounts posting it. And at that point, it's really kind of hard to find out what the main source was, right? Like it's really hard to
Mm,
find out and say, okay, this clip came from this person when it's getting shared around so many multiple accounts. So I reached out to Clyde asking for credit, and he was good enough to respond, and he actually did give me the credit. So big props to Clyde for that. He just got it off of
absolutely.
Twitter, and I that's what a lot of people did. They just got it off of Twitter because that's where it kind of went around. Big props to Rebel News too. They also gave me credit and they interviewed me. So yeah, that's how me and Clyde kind of came into contact was from that one video. So yeah, no, I'm super glad I got the chance to kind of connect with you. And again, thank you for giving me the credit 100% there. Appreciate that.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
yeah, no, that's just the difficult thing though, eh? And that's
Mm,
why when you have a clip that you think will go viral or that is going viral, it's always good to just put your name on there, watermark it, just so if it does get shared around, people know where it came from. Because at the end of the day, if you're going to be skipping school to stream something, you're going to want to make sure that everybody knows you posted. It's not like an ego thing. It's just like, you want to get recognized for your work. So from now on, if
absolutely.
I
Yeah.
ever do something again that I think is going to go viral, I'll just make sure to put my name on that and watermark it. I'm not sure if it was you who gave me that suggestion or maybe it was somebody else, but somebody told me to put my watermark on there for sure.
Yeah, it
So
wasn't. I don't think it was me. But
yeah.
I did make sure. So one thing I like to make sure I'm doing when I'm sharing on videos is try to uh keep the username of the people that I'm sharing videos, because then some people will be like, oh, I want to see who that guy is on Twitter. I'm a Twitter user or whatever. I'll
Yeah.
go check out that and follow that person kind of thing. So
Hmm.
uh, I try my best to give
Yeah.
everyone the credit that they're due, but you never know because the internet's the internet, and people will just use a website to rip
Hmm.
the video and then upload it themselves, and
Yeah.
then it's lost forever. And even if you put a watermark on it, they'll just crop in where the
Yeah.
watermark is, and
Hmm.
that's it's a dirty business, man. It's the Wild
It
West. It's the
is.
internet.
Yeah,
That's
it
the way it
is for
is.
sure. And the thing is with the watermark too, you want to make sure it's big enough so it can't get cropped out, but at the same time you don't want to turn people off by having your name right across the screen because that's just annoying
Yeah,
for people. So, I don't know. It's all about finding that perfect middle ground with the watermark. Sometimes I don't even add my watermark because I just find people don't use my video if my name's plastered across it. So,
yeah.
yeah, that's
Or
for
they'll just
sure.
find an alternate view of it or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, that's for sure. So yeah, now kind of transitioning. I want to ask you a question that I got the chance of asking Mr. Brian Peckford in person, and I got the chance to ask Mr. Roman Babber in person. This is a question that I'm now going to try to ask most of the people I interview. Do you believe in this day and age that Canada is a free country?
Well, I don't think that we're demonstrating that. I don't think that that's what we're putting forward. I think the potential of it being a free country is there. We have the institutions to allow for a free country. I just and I think that's the wrong way to put it. The allowance of a free country.
Yeah,
I think governments stepping over rules that are put in place for them to be held back from infringing on our natural born rights, our innate
yeah.
inalienable rights,
Hmm.
and I think there's a chance that we can reel things back and we can go
Hmm.
back to and I'm not an advocate for tearing down institutions. I'm an
Yeah,
advocate for propping back up institutions that have been dismantled or just have gone the wrong way because of
yeah,
legislation that's been put forward by people with the wrong ideology, an ideology that just isn't compatible with Western ideology. There's been a big push for a long time for this, and here comes the pendulum swinging back the other way. And I think
yeah.
that's where we are. I think what it is we have a free country, but we have a bunch of tyrants that are trying to subvert that at the moment.
Yeah, for sure. I'd say I'm probably I'd say I kind of agree with you on this for sure. As in a sense, Canada is free compared to other countries, but definitely not the potential that we could be in terms of personal freedom for everyone. I feel like Canada could be a lot more free for sure. What changes do you think have to be made to make Canada as free as possible?
Well, I just want to emphasize that point that it's you have to start from the position that you are free, and
Hmm.
it's that somebody else is coming in and trying to take that from you,
Yeah.
right? So I always come from that position. So I think people are born free, and then impositions are put up onto them. Um, sorry, get that question again. I just wanted to make that solid point again.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So, I'll ask is, what do you think? What changes do you think have to be made in this day and age with Canada to make Canada as free as possible?
Well, I think we need to reel things back. I think we need to reel back these socialist principles that come into play. I think they're incompatible with the principles that our country was founded on. The idea of inalienable rights, the idea of self ownership, which is the fundamental base principle for ownership of property. We had our Justin Lametti, the minister of not Justin Lametti, David Lametti. He's the minister of justice. He came out and said that Canadians don't ultimately have a right to property, to private
Mhm.
property. And I think that's totally backwards to the concept and the ideas that founded this country. They are totally in lockstep with the ideas of collectivism and the idea that the state should be the ultimate arbitrator on everything in society. A
Mhm.
lot of these people believe that we need state run, state controlled, central authority on too many aspects of our life. And I think a lot of that needs to be reeled back. And all the institutions, in order to make that happen, already exist in this country. We just
Yeah.
need to break down uh, new laws that have been put in place that undermine that. So I think those are the right steps of just reinstating our
Yeah.
parliamentary system that we already have.
Mhm. And what's that saying? World from the World Economic Forum, you'll own nothing and you'll be happy.
Yeah.
That's personally not the Canada I wish to live in, and I mean, I'm
Well, and it's
sure a
never
lot of people
worked.
in here
It's
will
never
agree.
made people happy. It's
Yeah.
never made people happy, the idea of no ownership.
Yeah.
In fact, it's missing the fundamental flaw and that's the equity problem. If people don't have equity in something, they don't take care of it. It's the
Mm-hmm.
problem with the commons that we discovered in the Dust Bowls of the early 19th 20th century, when the cattle grazers would only graze the common areas, and then they would overgraze, and then it became a Dust Bowl. These are concepts that you don't have to look very far. You go into your classroom. You're still a student. You go in the
Yeah.
classroom and you look at the pencils, pens, and pencil crayons and rulers and erasers that are common for everybody to use. They just get seshed, and they're just gonna get ruined, as opposed to the one you pick up from, or the stuff that you pick up from the stationery store and you have to take care of and make last the entire
Mm-hmm.
semester. Those are the ones that are going to last you the longest because you have equity in it. You own it.
Yeah.
When you remove equity from the equation, people don't take care of things, and these central planners don't realize this, and they don't realize this to such a degree that it becomes the detriment of the entire society.
Mm-hmm.
It's been
100%.
it's been seen time and time again.
Yeah, I'd almost rephrase it to you'll own nothing, you'll be miserable. That's what I'd
Absolutely.
rephrase it to. Yeah, for
They'll
sure.
own everything and you're not going to be happy about it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I'm not sure. I've been hearing a lot about this World Economic Forum. Maybe I'm not sure if we could go here with YouTube. I don't know. Could you maybe educate me more on that? Because I hear a lot of people talking about it, and I guess it's kind of my fault for not looking more into it. I don't know. Maybe like debrief kind of what the World Economic Forum is. I've heard people throwing around terms like the Great Reset. I'm not sure if we could talk about this on YouTube. I think we're
We can.
probably
We
fine. We
can.
can.
So
Yeah.
I did a video months ago called um, we can it's no longer taboo to talk about the World Economic Forum.
Yeah.
And largely to do with this freedom movement, the convoy around the world. We have the Dutch farmers talking about it openly. It's not considered a conspiracy theory there. Geneva's a stone throw away. Like, Davos is right there. These people know exactly what's going on. It's our media that has this idea that our media and our government had this idea of just telling people it's a conspiracy theory that these people are trying to peddle influence. Now, you could make it a conspiracy theory, or you could just look at the facts.
Mm-hmm.
So the World Economic Forum's been around since 1971. It's founded by a guy named Klaus Schwab. He
Yeah.
looks and sounds just like a Bond villain. It's almost too good to be true.
Yeah.
He's got a thick German accent, bald head. He wears funny clothing. He's got a supervillain suit. Like, give me a break. Like,
Yeah.
you couldn't write this, right?
Uh-huh.
Now, his organization's been around since '71. It came out of other organizations that had similar plans of peddling influence around the world when it came to rich elites and uh, and infiltrating governments. And he's openly said that he's infiltrated the cabinets around the world with his
Mm-hmm.
young global leader program so that they'll do the things that they want. So it's openly anti-democratic. It's
Yeah.
not like subverting democracy. It's anti-democratic. It's
Mm-hmm.
taking government leaders that are voted in by democratic election and then saying, yeah, you know what you're going to do for your constituency, we got a totally different plan for you.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of and essentially it's a think tank. It's a think tank for millionaires and the ultra rich. They get lured in by this Klaus Schwab dude who peddles them in for a prestige club. It's like the golf club, and they give out a bumper sticker you got to have on your SUV, and the grass is greener. Everybody's always gotta, it's the keeping up with the Joneses thing, but for the ultra elite club. And you have these people that they need to be members, or they're not going to be seen right by their peers, and he uses that to his advantage to peddle to get more people involved to peddle his influence. And I do believe that um, they are trying to push things forward on a global level. He's an economist, Klaus Schwab. He's written his own treatise of types called
Yeah.
he calls it stakeholder capitalism, which is it's basically a type of soft fascism corporatism. Uh, it's socialism with robots essentially. I mean, if you look at his economic theory, it's he calls it the fourth industrial revolution,
Mhm.
where this AI is going to bring about the end of scarcity, which is it's another utopian idea, just like
Mhm.
all the ideas from all the other utopians like Karl Marx and all
Yeah.
Engels and all of this. Um, when it comes to the COVID, the Great Reset, he wrote a book called COVID-19: The Great Reset.
Yeah.
He sent it out to all his young global leaders, and then
Mhm.
immediately they all started talking about it and quoting from it. And the Build Back Better term came from this group as well, which we've all heard from
Yeah.
our politicians' mouths. And yeah, they're all talking points, and they're moving forward with an agenda. That's what it
Uh,
is.
100%. Yeah, it's all an agenda. And the thing is, I mean, you don't hear it being talked about on mainstream media whatsoever. I mean, it's
Well,
just this.
up until months
Yeah.
ago, it
Uh-huh.
was taboo. You weren't allowed to
Yeah.
speak it. You'd
Mhm.
get labeled a conspiracy theory if you talked a
Yeah.
theorist if you talked about it. Now, you have just below the mainstream, you now have journalists going to Davos
Yeah.
during their last meetup, and
Mhm.
now it's a big thing.
Yeah, I
And
saw, what was it?
the mainstream just follows
Mhm.
independent journalists. That's what happens.
Yeah, I think I saw a report. Avi Yemeni from Rebel News went to Davos and
Yeah.
trying to interview them. I mean, shout
Jack
out to Rebel
Posobiec
News.
did.
They're getting in
Jack
there.
Posobiec, he's a well-known
Mhm.
journalist from the United States.
Yeah.
Andrew Lawton flew all the way out
Yeah.
there for it from
Mhm.
True North. So yeah,
Yeah.
there's a bunch of people going out there and covering this because it's actually of interest to a lot of people right now.
Yeah. I feel like independent journalists are definitely the new wave, if you will. I don't know how to put this. The new form of journalism is people like us, people like Avi Yemeni, Andrew Lawton, um,
Well,
independent journalists who are gonna do it by
that's the thing.
themselves without a
Oh,
big
sorry.
corporation backing them. Yeah, for sure.
So the thing that changed in journalism was journalists used to be from the working class. That's where the lifeblood of journalism came from, and they used to be the check on government. They used to be the check on the leadership, the check on the elite, and they used to be out there for the working class people. That's what it was. Everything changed when journalists reckoned themselves part of the elite group. And now that they have little boys clubs and and these things where they get together with the people that they're supposed to be scrutinizing, now they're in bed with each other. There is no journalists, no journalism in mainstream. It's
Yeah,
over. That's done. Because well, I mean, what is the fifth estate if they're just part of the establishment?
exactly.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, we're seeing journalism come about from unusual places,
Mhm.
but it's because there's a market for it. Anytime
Yeah.
that there's a market for something, you're just going to see more people enter that arena. People are dying to hear the truth,
Yeah.
and well, there's some of us are out there telling them it.
For sure. And I don't have the exact number, but how much was it? I'm not sure if you know. Maybe I could look this up. That Trudeau actually paid the CBC, I heard, to just pump him up. Just totally toot his horn 100%. I
I forget
mean,
the figure, but
yeah, me
last year
too.
it was 1.4 billion
Jeez.
dollars that went into the media. Uh,
Man.
a significant amount of that went into CBC, but
Mhm.
the rest of it was all divvied up amongst the other players, and then other newspapers around the country
Mhm.
got paid out via
Mhm.
these grants and all of this stuff. It was all in the auspices of yeah, we're saving you from COVID-19, but it's like, well, people still read papers even though there's a
Yeah.
virus going around. People can still read go on the internet and read articles. So it was an absurd um, logic for basically payola to just toe the line and carry water
Mhm.
for the government.
And I mean, that's why you got to give props to organizations like Rebel News, and I'm sure there's a lot of other independent media companies out there. I'm sure they've been tempted with payouts, but they just don't take them. So you got to give respect to them for that. I could see how maybe it could be tempting as a news organization. I mean, here's $50 million if you just promote us and never say anything bad about us. Uh,
Well, I think what it
right?
is it's everybody as soon as they knew
Yeah.
they were eligible, they applied for it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's it's more about who ends up with those payouts. So like the way bribes work isn't always explicit. Like, hey, here's a bunch of money. Say exactly what we want you to say.
Yeah.
It's more along the lines of here's a bunch of money. We're gonna keep that gravy train going, and the unsaid is the do what we say because we could
Mm,
find a reason why you don't get that
yeah.
gravy train anymore. And
Mm-hmm.
by shunning rebel news from that in the beginning,
Yeah.
it sent a clear signal to
Mm-hmm.
everyone else that, oh, right, if you criticize, you won't get it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I mean, that's a really big problem in this country. Um, as you mentioned, it used to be you could turn to the news to have journalists who actually are there to try at least to bring you the truth. Nowadays, you can't really expect that from mainstream media, which is a really big problem. I think that's kind of part of the reason we are where we are is because just if I you could call it brainwashing, you could call it propaganda that you see, you could call it all that, but it just one of the problems with Canada is we don't have reliable press at the moment, and I mean
Hmm.
until we get
Well,
that, it's gonna
so
be the same
we're
problem.
we're starting to learn that we didn't have reliable press for a lot of years, and
Yes.
that's the problem. Is right now it's such a low bar to entry. All you got to
Hmm.
have is work ethic, and you can get the media out there. You can get your voice heard. You just have to have the ethic to get it done and get it done in a timely manner.
Yeah.
What and this is a new concept. This is the idea of the internet. The dissemination of information is so much easier nowadays, and you can go to whatever channel you want. You don't have to go through these main publishers. um, I know years ago publishers they had more of a sense of integrity and but as it turns out we're hearing more and more stories about how other things were falsified as well
Hmm.
throughout the years. We heard the story of Dan Rather falsifying information and getting fired for that, right? So it's and this was before the dissemination of information as we see it today. So yeah, you just gotta watch out and be diligent. Um, I think what comes with that though is also knowing when you're getting BS'd. You know, like
Yeah.
there is and this is a warning that goes out to everybody out there. There is a lot of BS out there as well.
Hmm.
So be careful, but it seems like our mainstream news sources are just as much BS as some of the most egregious stuff that you hear online.
Yeah, and that's the problem with a lot of people in Canada is they don't know when they're being BS'd. They just like it's not everybody, and I don't want to put all Canadians into this, but there's a big portion of Canada which is just 100% everything I see on TV is true,
Yeah,
everything, and
it's getting smaller and smaller though.
yeah, it
Those
is.
people
Hmm.
are. I mean, what are you gonna do? What are you
Yeah,
gonna do? They also like pop music on the radio.
yeah. Hmm.
You just there's always going to be that amount of people that just they're unreachable. They're
Hmm.
unreachable with truth. It's just
Yeah, for
it is.
sure. And I mean, I've noticed friends and family who are like that too. And here's where I am. I'm never gonna stop being friends with somebody because they have different political views. That's why I've noticed some people do. Like, it gets so intense that, like, well, if you don't agree with me on this policy, I'm not your friend anymore. If you voted for this candidate, then get out of my life. That's something I feel like is such a problem, and I'll never do that. I've seen that in my life. Nobody's done that to me, but I've seen people in my life doing that to others, which is like, well, if you don't agree with me, don't want anything to do with you. And I mean, that's another big problem. I feel like I'm just listing off problems right now with our country,
Yeah, I
but
don't
I
know
mean,
if I know the ultimate answer for that. I mean,
yeah.
this is a thing that it was not a phenomenon when I was growing up.
Hmm.
Like we would understand that people don't share the same opinions as you on
Yeah.
everything. You know, like People have different religions.
Yeah.
People have different customs, different beliefs, different politics. Like these are all things that we, as a society, always agreed that yeah, we may have our differences, but we're all Canadian. I think
Hmm.
what changed is the thing that brings us all together. And I we could point our finger at a lot of things. I know specifically Trudeau and his cabinet were peddling this division
Hmm.
during the last election. That was like their main point. And then turning around and saying that it's so bad that everyone's so divisive these days. And it's like
Yeah.
how can you? How can you
Yeah.
say that? But I don't know if that's a product of Trudeau himself, or it's a larger societal phenomena with the advent of social media and a lot of these other things. Relationships these days seem too cheap for people. For a long time, you had proximity friends. I used to always call them like, "Hey, my proximity friend." Like, I only know and hang out with certain people because they're in my proximity. And you know what? You just have to get to learn to get along with these people because you got
Hmm.
to live with them every single day. These are the people
Yeah.
around you. And it's just like coworkers and stuff like that. Like you got to learn how to get along with people. Cancel culture came about with this whole idea that you could just up like pull anchor and just go over there and like as if nothing ever happened and your bad
Yeah.
behavior never occurred.
Hmm.
um yeah, this is a weird new concept that hasn't happened in I don't think in humanity ever.
Yeah.
And we have some growing pains with this idea of a free, fair, and open internet. And I think these are some of them. But let's hope
Yeah.
that it doesn't tear our society apart
Yeah.
in the process.
I mean, I feel like at some point people just have to agree to disagree, right?
Well,
Uh,
okay, so there are certain things that you can agree to disagree on, but
yeah.
there are other fundamental things. And this, I think, is where things get to a head. Like I said about inalienable rights.
Hmm.
There are some people that are out there saying that they have rights. They have these new rights. And there's without getting too deep into the philosophy behind it, there are what people call positive rights and negative rights. So a negative right doesn't take cost you anything. Like it your right to your property, it doesn't you don't no you don't have to usurp anything from anybody. You don't have to take anything from anybody to
Hmm.
uphold somebody's right to their own property, to the preservation of self ownership, to the pursuit of happiness, right?
Yeah.
What you do need to take away from someone else to uphold someone else's right is a positive right, where somebody says, "I have a right to." Um, using a bathroom, a particular bathroom, if I want to. In order to get that right, somebody has to provide that. Um, People in my camp would say healthcare provided by the government is a positive right, where you have to, at the end of the day, ultimately tell a doctor you have to serve this person
Hmm.
because this is their right. So what happens to the doctor's right? So there's um, this paradox there with
Yeah.
positive rights, where somebody else has to have their rights infringed on in order
Hmm.
to to uphold someone else's so-called rights.
Yeah.
And because of that paradox, this is where some people will not be able to just agree to disagree, because some people will say,
Hmm.
well, they deserve that, and other people will say, well, like basic income, people say it should be a right to have a basic amount of money. And it's like,
Yeah.
well, on what grounds? On
Yeah.
what grounds does
Gotta
somebody
work
else
for
have
it.
to work and
Yes.
earn that money to provide you with that basic
Hmm.
income?
Yeah.
It's a positive right that ultimately has to you have to infringe on somebody else's rights to
Yeah.
uphold that positive right.
Hmm. Yeah, 100% for sure. I just want to take 1 second to acknowledge some more super chats. Unacceptable Fringe with the third super chat of the stream. I appreciate you. I've spent many years owning nothing, and I can assure you it did not make me happy. Tell the Grand Q-tip to give up his stuff and see if he does it. Yeah, no, I
So I call
100%.
so I call him the Grand Q-tip. I don't know why I don't know where these nicknames come from on my channel. I get going in the live streams and just rapping about it. But Klaus Schwab, I just said it out loud one time. It came out as Cotton Schwab, and then he got the name the Grand Q-tip. Yeah, have all kinds of fun with public figures and giving them nicknames.
That's too funny. And we got another one from here from Zot, one of the streamers who's in Ottawa. Jeez, Zot, I didn't
Oh
even
no
know
way,
that you knew.
Zod.
Yeah, I didn't even know that you knew about my channel. I appreciate you. Says, "What's up,
Oh,
Tyson
that's
Oakley?"
really cool.
Zot, I gotta get you on my channel. Reach out, or I'll reach out to you. Zot, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, no, I remember actually watching Zot down in Ottawa. I had
I
a
watched him
list of
live get
streamers.
arrested. That was
Yeah,
that was something else.
yeah. I had like a list of view people that I would watch in Ottawa. Of course, I didn't know all the streamers. Like I didn't know Live from the Shed back then. But Zot was definitely on my main list. It was Ottawax, you Ottawa Scotty, and Zot were kind of the three main ones that I paid attention to while everything was happening during Ottawa. So I mean, shout out to Zot. I mean, big
Yeah.
props to you.
And you
Thank
Ottawa
you for
Scotty, I had him on my channel last week, was it?
yeah,
Yeah, we had a chat. It was a really good one. It was a really good one.
yeah.
I like that guy. He's such a nice guy.
Oh yeah, he seems very laid back, very down to earth. I mean,
Hmm.
yeah,
He just cares about people, and that's
yeah.
in a genuine way, and that's
Hmm.
that's it's a really unique thing
Hmm.
to see in a person. And yeah, what a solid guy.
Yeah, for sure, 100%. And I just want to give another a big shout out to all the streamers who were in Ottawa because if it wasn't for you, nobody would actually really know what was happening. Because of course the mainstream media try to paint them as all sorts of things, and if it wasn't for a lot of the live streamers, a lot of the people would have believed it. So, shout
Yeah,
out to everybody who
absolutely.
was boots on the ground in Ottawa. I would have wished more than anything to be in Ottawa for everything to live stream. Unfortunately, I wasn't, but I still did my part, or my best of recording everything in Victoria. But no, just nothing but love, nothing but respect for the people who were down in Ottawa, bringing us all the live coverage. And they had thousands of viewers. I remember Ottawa could get up to 20, 30,000 people watching them live. It's insane. I mean, without
Yeah, it
people
was
like
amazing.
that, a lot of people wouldn't really know what was going on. So, yeah.
People were donating to Scotty to circumvent using the Give Send Go, and
Oh, yeah.
and he was getting super chats, and then he was going to the ATM and he was taking out money. He's just like,
Yeah.
okay, this is from this person. Here's some money. Somebody said go to this guy, give him money, and it was amazing. It was amazing.
Yeah, for sure. No, it was awesome sitting back and I don't know, just kind of just take a second to reminisce on the days of the convoy. I mean, I had a ton of fun just sitting back watching these streamers live. Um, Big shout out to them again.
Oh,
There's a
in the chat
certain
saying Hail Row. Yeah,
oh
definitely.
yeah,
War
War
Campaign.
Campaign. Yeah, shout out to
Great
him for
channel.
sure. Yeah, he's another great streamer. I think I found out about him um during the Rolling
Rohan's a
Thunder event.
gentleman. He's a gentleman.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he is. Yeah.
He's always saying hi to the pretty ladies.
Yeah, yeah. No, I found out about him during the Rolling Thunder bikers rally that they had. I remember I
Yeah,
was doing like a little restream and I put him up on my screen. He was getting the best coverage for sure that I saw of that at the time. Show it to War Campaign for sure. He seems like a very wholesome
absolutely.
guy. Yeah, hundred
Yeah,
percent.
him and Rowan Pan. They're both cool guys.
Yeah, yeah. I know. He's what is he at? Like 40,000. He's growing fast. So yeah,
Oh, I
big
don't
ups
know.
to
I
him.
don't know.
Oh yeah, he's
He's
growing
doing good.
fast
He's
though.
doing good.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, no, just to take it back to the convoy days, I mean, it was like a certain vibe in the air, you know? Like, I don't know how to explain it, but there's something that just made me feel so motivated back then to bring my coverage. I mean, there's a lot of people that were interested. It was the main headline. I'm doing a bad job at explaining it, but I'm not sure if you felt this
I
too,
know
like
what it
this
was for
energy
me.
and this
I know
like
what it was for
connection.
me. These are my people. I'm
Hmm.
a technician. I'm a tradesman. I've I've always been around truck drivers and
Yeah.
industry guys, and these are my people, right? And when I saw them from the day that they hit the road in British Columbia, and a funny story. So I was at a bar for my buddy's birthday, and
Mhm.
he called me up and he's like, "Hey, it's my birthday. I know, last minute notice, but can you come to the bar?" And we've been under lockdown for all this time, and I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, I'm doing that." So we got out there, and it was uh, a bunch of our friends, right? Showed
Yeah.
up at this bar, and we had our masks off, and the whole bar had their masks off, and we're like, "This is awesome," right? And we're chatting, and it was the first time when a lot of people got around and got out, and everyone's like, yeah, this whole COVID thing's just BS, right? And everyone was just done with it.
Yeah.
And by the way, you won't get in trouble for that on YouTube.
Yeah.
They've changed their terms of service, so you can say that.
Oh
But
yeah.
so that's when on the TVs they were playing YouTube videos of the trucks leaving British
Oh
Columbia,
yeah.
and then we overheard a waitress talking about it, and then I mentioned something about it, and our table started talking about it. Waitress came over and started talking about it with us, and then next thing you know, the whole bar is talking about it,
Oh yeah.
and everybody at the bar is talking about it. And we're all getting
Man.
excited. We're like, yeah, this is gonna be good.
Yeah.
And was it a few days later? I saw AVE did a video about it. If you don't know who that channel is, he's an old tradesman, Canadian tradesman, and great
Mhm.
channel. But he usually does his like tools and stuff like that.
I'll have to check
And
him out.
yeah, he did a video just like giving the good old boys the thumbs up on what they were doing. And I was like, I had a tear in my eye watching that, and I'm like, I gotta say my piece. And so
Yeah.
that's when I got my real motivation to get involved. If I couldn't go to Ottawa myself, I was
Yeah.
gonna blab my mouth on the internet, what I know how to do best.
Yeah, and I mean, that's kind of one of my regrets. I know that there probably would have been no way for me to get to Ottawa, but if there's any chance I could have been in Ottawa, I would have taken that for sure. Just to be there, around that energy, and just to, I don't know. I also would have got to meet a lot of cool people. I would have gotten the chance to meet Viva Frey, live from the shed, Ottawa, you Ottawa Scotty. That's one of my regrets is not being able to be there, but
Mm.
it is what it is. It would have been
It
awesome to
is what
be
it
there though,
is.
for
But
sure.
eventually
Yeah,
you'll get to meet all these guys
hopefully,
because
yeah.
well, you stay in the
Hmm.
game, and I mean,
Yeah,
we're the only ones still talking about it, right?
yeah, hmm,
So I got to know Dave through the grapevine. I ended up chatting with him, and I got to be on Viva Fry's channel because you covered something I was talking about
oh
just a
yeah,
couple weeks ago. So
sweet,
he just invited me on, like I was at work, and
awesome,
he's like, "Oh, you're in the chat, Clyde? Okay, come on." And popped
sweet.
on his channel. That was impromptu. Um, just had Tamara Litch reach out to me, say
Oh
hello,
wow,
to just say,
sweet,
"Hey, I love your show," and
awesome.
I thought that was really, I was blown away by that.
Yeah,
I was absolutely blown away by that. So, yeah, there's a lot of us talking about it, and eventually you get to meet all the crew.
yeah, for sure. Um, so yeah, I'm not sure. We're getting to that hour mark. I said we'd maybe go for about an hour. Um,
Have you got more
is
questions? You want to dive into some more?
uh, let me think here. So we've talked about YouTube censorship. We've relived the days of the Freedom Convoy. Is there anything that you'd like to talk about? We could go for a bit longer if you'd like here.
I just want to emphasize the point, even if this is a signing off, that, and again, I'm just going right back to it. It's knowing what the Western society is all about. And this move away from the fundamental principles of freedom, the idea of self ownership, the idea of your manifesting your own destiny. These are concepts that I think are most fundamental to our society. These are the reasons why people move to Canada. We don't have an emigration program where people are leaving here en masse. We have an immigration program where people are coming here en masse. We are a beacon to the rest of the world. And as long as we are a free society, we will be a beacon to the rest of the world. If we
Yeah.
turn around and we mimic places like China, uh, Venezuela, we're not going to be a beacon anymore. We're
Hmm.
going to, people won't want to emulate us. They won't want to be like us. They'll want to escape from us.
Yeah.
And I think we really, really need to take this to heart because this is the wrong direction that we're going. And yeah, I really want to encourage everyone to get on board, speak with more people, communicate. I think the best thing to do is talk to people and be open to other people's ideas as well, obviously, but hear people out and then give them your ideas. And I think
Yeah.
that really brings people together.
Yeah, for sure. And I've already heard stories about people who fled a communist country to come to Canada and are now saying, like, what the heck? I fled a communist country and now I see signs of Canada becoming that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, I 100% agree with you on that for sure. Let's see here. Somebody said, or Rob said, Clyde, tell Tyson what your definition of freedom is. Let's hear it. What is your
Well,
definition of
I
freedom?
dove into that. I dove into that.
Yeah.
So my definition of freedom is, well, and I always go back to base principles. I think if you're gonna look at any philosophy, you'll always have to go break it down to its most basic principles. And the most basic principle of freedom is the idea of self-ownership. You can't have ownership of anything else if you don't own yourself first.
Hmm.
Everything that you own is either you bought it, but everything you buy it or you make it. But
Yeah.
the fruits of your own labor, they come from the idea of that you've made a thing from yourself. And if you don't first own yourself, well, how do you own anything else afterwards?
Yeah.
So the most basic fundamental principle of freedom is the idea of self-ownership. So when you have an entity coming in and trying to do things like force you to put something in your body, that goes against the ideas of the basics of self-ownership. If you have someone that comes in and says you don't ultimately have a right to property, that goes against the idea of self-ownership. So these are principles we need to, like I said, always go to the base core of every principle. And if you know and you can understand the logic behind something, then you'll never forget it. It always makes it very easy to explain it to other people as well.
Yeah, for sure. Seize the day here says informed consent. Exactly. Yep.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and we touched on that earlier in the interview too, or I'm not sure if you could call it an interview discussion of the mainstream media not presenting both sides, and they're not really making much room for informed consent because they're not doing a very good job at actually informing people. So
Yeah, well,
yeah, just
sometimes they'll
want to
show the other side, but they'll show a skewed version of what the other
yes,
side
or
is.
they'll show the other side while telling everybody how horrible the other side is and how they're a bunch of terrorists. They'll
Yeah.
do that too. Yeah. I tweeted out a couple days ago. I'm not a right winger. I'm not a left winger. I'm just a 14-year-old who wants the best for his country, and I stand
Amazing.
by that for sure. I don't like the idea of people saying, "Well, I'm a right winger," or "I'm a left winger. This is 100% what I am." I like the idea of whatever you think is the best for your country. That's what you vote for. I'm not old enough to vote, but I would never glue myself to a label of, well, I'm this party for life. Whatever
I don't know. I'm a vehement
side,
centrist. I'm right down the
yeah.
middle on a
Hmm.
lot of things. You
Honestly,
know what
I'd
I
probably
mean?
say I'm around there too, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a little right here. I'm a little left there.
Yeah. Me too.
But that all has room for conversation. I think that there is a particular group in society that's gone way off the deep end, far left,
Yes.
and a lot of people will call you a right winger if you're against the far left, and it's
Hmm.
like no. I'm in the center,
Yeah.
and I'm against I'm against Crazy Town. Like let's
Yeah.
put it that way.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I think everybody looks right of Crazy Town if you're in
Yeah,
Crazy
for
Town.
sure. Yeah, and it seems like there's a big push to make Crazy Town more mainstream. It seems like that's kind of the direction they're trying to head in. And I mean, of course, I'm against Crazy Town too, which maybe some people look at me as being a right winger for. Which really, like you said, no, I'm not a right winger. I'm in the center, but because I oppose the far left, may people see me as maybe right. I don't know.
Well, a
Yeah,
writer for the National Post labeled me a conservative YouTube channel. And
yeah.
it's like, well, I'm not. I'm not conservative. Yeah,
Hmm.
maybe I have ideas that align with some of the ideas that the Conservative Party has, but
Hmm.
and Yeah, I got my conservative membership so I could vote in their leadership race, but that doesn't make me a conservative. I'm not I would just as soon get a liberal membership so I can vote in their leadership race.
Yeah.
I'll do it for all the parties.
Hmm.
So it's like, yeah, I'm not tied down to anything.
Yeah, exactly. Like in the future, if I see a conservative that I think is best for the country, I'll vote for him. If I see a liberal that I think is the best for the country, and I truly believe that they're the best for the country, I'll vote for them. I'm not tied down to either side. It's really just whatever I believe is going to push Canada in the right direction. Let's see here. Kimberly says, yes, Tyson, choice and unbiased. Yeah, that's the thing. I try my very best, although it is hard at times, to remain neutral on stuff I'm reporting on. Of course, you can't do that all the time, but I do try my best to remain unbiased. I feel like that's something that journalists should try to do more often is present stuff unbiased. I like the idea of reporting something and just kind of letting my viewers decide for themselves what to think. I'm not big on telling people what to think. I'm big on showing the facts, and then if you agree with this, you agree. If you disagree, you disagree. I like letting people make up their own mind. And if mainstream media did more of that, it'd be perfect, but they don't,
It's hard.
unfortunately.
It's hard. So like what I do on YouTube is both reporting on things and then also opinion. So
Mhm.
I give a lot of my opinion in what it
Yeah.
is that I'm talking about. So you do there is a gray area and there is like a line that you shouldn't cross. Um,
Mhm.
it's yeah, it's a hard one to pin down, but I know that if you're trying to or if you actively ignore data or facts that are in a case because you want to portray a certain opinion, then
Mhm.
you're a hack. You're not a
Yes.
journalist,
Yeah.
and it's
Mhm.
completely just that. And I see a lot of that from the mainstream media. Now, some of
Mhm.
it might be due to laziness, but even that's a poor excuse because they're just being lazy and they're not doing a good job. So like there's the old expression. I'm paraphrasing here, but you don't attribute malice to what you can attribute it to stupidity.
Yeah.
You know, I tend to think that a lot of these reporters are just lazy.
Yes, for sure.
But I mean, you both end in both scenarios. You end up with a lot of people being propagandized.
Yes, 100% for sure. And I mean, I just want to bring something up. If I could find it in my Twitter. Um, okay, so there is an independent journalist by the name of Mark Slapinski, and this is a little bit off topic, but just to kind of show the division that there is in Canada, right? So Mark Slapinski tweets out, Canada is not divided. It's just a small group of losers that don't want to get vaccinated or wear a mask. Then they wonder why normal people hate them so much. These people did to themselves. So he says Canada is not divided, and then he proceeds to call people losers because they have a different opinion than him.
Yeah, so
So, I
it's a
mean,
big division tactic. It's
yeah.
I'm not dividing people.
Hmm.
Watch me divide people. you know?
Yeah.
And it's too funny. So, one tweet that I put out right at the beginning of the whole thing, because I know how the media works. I've been watching it since Ron Paul. I was a big Ron Paul supporter back in the day. He was an American congressman that was running for the presidential bid. He never got it because the media just did what the media does, right? They don't like you, you're not getting it. And I thought that was really unfair. And so I've been watching the media ever since, and I started chiming in on things during the convoy. But right at the beginning of the convoy, I saw what was happening and how the media was starting to spin it. And the first thing I put out was on Twitter, and I said, in case any of you are confused, there's a group of truckers in Canada who are 90% vaccinated, protesting government overreach and citizens being tracked with QR codes. If you have heard otherwise, you're probably being lied to.
Yep.
They wanted they
100%.
wanted to change the narrative. They made it this big anti-vax thing. It was against vaccine mandates,
Mhm.
absolutely. But they spun it as this narrative of this tiny, tiny group of people, when it wasn't that tiny group of people. It was a lot of people. Remember, and we're all dealing with ArriveCAN now. It was right around the time ArriveCAN came out
Yeah.
and was implemented that's when the truckers were like, oh, this is enough. This is enough because it was affecting them directly.
Hmm. Yeah, for sure. And I mean, that just goes back to the, how do I put it? Mainstream media is in large, in my opinion, at fault for a lot of the division in this country. And of course, you could point at people like Justin Trudeau as well, who propagate a lot of division. Um, I mean, it's to the point where some people hate people who support the truckers. And I'm not saying right now that I do or don't support the truckers, but I feel like it's a little bit silly if you're going to hate your neighbor because he has a flag on his car or something like that, you know? But it's people like, I hate to say it, Justin Trudeau has propagated a lot of that division in this country. I mean, he did that real quick as soon as the trucker thing started, right?
Yeah,
So
he was
he started
exploiting a
just throwing,
situation where
yes.
and it's hard to know who to give blame for all of this.
Hmm.
Obviously, like the people participating in it and doing it, yeah, they're to blame for
Yeah.
sowing division. But why are they doing it? And I see there's a huge economic incentive for people to do this. Like if it's politicians, they can win elections based on dividing people up and having divisive campaigns.
Hmm.
It's been well known for and well established for a long time.
Yeah.
But as the media landscape has changed, a lot of what used to sell in newspapers, telling the truth and being known as a reputable source, is no longer a big thing when they're already losing market share. And when they can put sensational headlines out there and get people angry, afraid, all of these negative emotions sell newspapers. They sell
Yeah.
clicks. They sell
Hmm.
clicks on websites and articles, and they sell subscriptions. So I think that is a lot to blame for incentivizing these reporters and these journalists and these politicians to going in that direction.
Yeah, I feel like nowadays it's all so polarized. It's all about that one big headline that's going to get all the clicks. So, that definitely has to do with a lot of the division in Canada for sure. Is just people trying to have that polarizing headline 100%.
Hmm.
I've seen a couple super chats. I actually missed one by Trish. I'm sorry, Trish. A little while back. Says, great chat, Tyson and Clyde. Do something. Appreciate you, Trish. Thank you so much for that super chat.
Cheers.
Jeez, guys, the super chats have been insane today. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much.
Good work. Good work, man.
And I guess it does kind of help combat the fact that I'm not making any ad revenue. So, I mean, at this point, my channel is kind of fan funded. You cannot expect YouTube to do their thing with placing the advertisements. It's all you guys. I do not do this for the money at all. I mean, I'm a 14-year-old. What do I need a bunch of money for, right? But I mean, it does help with stuff like equipment, like this microphone. So
There
it
you
does
go.
help with my channel for sure. Um, but it's not like I do YouTube for money or anything.
You earned it, my
Um,
man. You earned it.
Thank you, thank you. It's just gonna be like I'm gonna try to reinvest into my channel. I'm not gonna blow it on candy, although I do like my cookies. I'm not gonna just blow it all on candy and shoes. Like I'm gonna try to take the money people give me to just better myself and better this channel for sure.
Great. Great. I like to
Uh,
hear that.
we got another one from Anonymous. Says, "Thank you, Tyson, Clyde. Good to meet up this way. I appreciate that, Anonymous. Thank you so much for that 10."
Cheers.
And we got Jane Bray with the 5 says, "Great show, guys. I just heard of a convoy leaving BC headed east. I'll just have to look into that for sure." Have you heard anything
Yeah.
about that, Clyde?
No, I haven't. I want
No,
to
neither
know
have
about
I. I'll
that.
have to look into that. Hmm. Awesome. Well, thank you for letting me know and making me aware of that. Um, so yeah, that's it for the super chats. Um, so yeah, I think I've talked about everything I wanted to kind of talk about on the stream. If you do have anything, we'll maybe wrap it up around here. If you have any concluding things to say, please feel free to do so.
Just want to say thanks for inviting me, having me over here, and yeah, I really appreciate what you're doing. It's really cool to see the next generation coming up, and learning the ropes, getting out there, just taking the bull by the horns. I guess you're young, but you have ambitions, and I like seeing that. I do like seeing that.
Yeah, and thank you for coming on my show. I appreciate it. I know you're a busy guy, so I appreciate you making the time to come on.
Absolutely.
And I just want to give one shout out, one big shout out to Clyde. If you do happen to be new, I know most of the people, I'd say probably 95% of the people in the chat already know who you are. But if you happen to be one of the people who don't know who Clyde is, I got a link in the description. Click it. It'll bring you to um, Clyde Do Something's channel. He is so close to 100,000 subscribers, and I've been visualizing the day that I hit that and get that silver play button. He's actually really close. Let's get him that silver plaque that you get for hitting 100,000 subscribers. He deserves it. So I want everybody, if you are a fan of Clyde and if you've enjoyed this interview, just go click that link. And then I see Brett's put a link in the comment there to Clyde Do Something's channel. Hit that subscribe button. Another streamer similar to, I don't want to say similar to me, but same type of niche, I guess you could say.
Yeah,
So
very
yeah,
similar.
if you enjoyed this conversation, definitely go subscribe to Clyde's channel for sure. But yeah, I guess that's it. Thank you so much for coming on, Clyde. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
And yeah, I'm gonna just do a little wrap up here. I appreciate you for coming on, and take care.
Cheers.
See ya. So yeah, big shout out to Clyde. Do something. I had a ton of fun with that interview. I appreciate all the super chats. You guys have been going insane with that. So thank you so much for that. Big shout out again to Clyde. I had a ton of fun. I feel like I touched on everything that I intended on touching on. Again, I'm not a right winger. I'm not a left winger. I'm a 14-year-old who wants the best for Canada. As I said in my other tweet, I feel like that kind of sums up my position best. Geez, another super chat. Oh my gosh. Thank you guys. Stephanie Berries with the 10 says, did I just say Stephanie Berries? My bad. Stephanie Berry with the 10 says, great job tying Clyde. Thank you so much for that, Stephanie. I appreciate that. Jeez, you guys have been going crazy. Let's see. Elaine here says, let's get him to 10,000 subs. Yes, that's the goal. What are we at now? 9.15k. Okay, sweet. So yes, at 10,000 subscribers, I will do a live stream of baking a cake with my mom. You guys know every 1,000 subscribers I get a cake. Still gotta get my 9,000 cake though, mom, if you're watching. But yeah, no, for 10,000 I will do a live stream baking the 10,000 cake with my mom. So you're gonna want to see that for sure. If you are new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. Only if you actually enjoy my content. If you don't need to subscribe. Nobody's here to force you. But if you agree, if you enjoyed this kind of conversation, and if you think you'd find value from subscribing to my channel, then please do so because it is 100% free. I also do want to mention something. I feel like I should at least mention it. I do have a program if you want to further support my channel, where you could join my channel. And let me just throw this up here. I could share my screen, I suppose. Go. So I do have a option here where you could join as a channel member. I'm gonna be trying to post some exclusive member only videos. So this is 100% optional, but if you do want to, then it is here. YouTube has a 50% off thing right now for my membership. So I mean, I guess show it to YouTube. This is one of the good things that they do. Not a very long list, but it's one of the good things that they've done. Is they've offered on them 50% off tier 1 and tier 2. So that's just a thing I wanted to mention. If you wanted to join my channel as a member, some of the perks you'll get is this blue verified Twitter check mark next to your name, member only live streams. I'm going to be starting those up soon. I know I keep saying I'll do them. I actually am going to do them. Member only live streams. Priority reply to comments. I try to reply to as many as I can, but if I see you got that check mark, I'm going to reply to you more than likely. And of course, my forever lasting gratitude. That's all just for tier 1. But I don't want to try to sound like a salesman. I just want to throw this out there in case you are interested. This is always an option. I got 3 tiers here. This is always an option if you wanted to kind of further support the channel. But no, I guess this is enough rambling for me. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching. And yeah, take care, everybody. Be sure to like the stream, share this out there, and I will see you in the next one. Appreciate you guys.